Oh, look at that! That's going to be a picture. Good evening, guys and girls, but mostly guys, for the round 4 of 7 of the Racing Line Volkswagen Jetta Cup, powered by GT Omega. Races 7 and 8, we're back once again at Watkins Glen with a rather suggestive looking track map, let's say. The classic Watkins Glen layout, no chicane, no boot. It's in America, of course, as is the whole season. And we are broadcast here live on the Racing Line YouTube and Twitch. I'm your commentator, Jack Johns. Welcome back. It is good to see you. You can see a few of the Jettas out in practice there in the bottom of your screens. I see Stephen Burns in chat already saying hello. Lots of airtime for the back of my car, please, to let everybody know how I feel about this place. Well, let's have a quick look. So the practice is on its way. Patrick Depart is currently quickest in practice. I'll give you the full names so you can see who is who. Oh, should we do it? We never do it this way. There you go. Have a look at your full names. Oh, Jan Weisbanger's in Twitch chat as well, saying hello. Welcome back to the German driver joining us over on the Twitch side. I see chats from both areas, wherever you're watching from. So do join in with the chat, talk to each other, and I'll do my best to keep up with it, although I've got a feeling it's going to be difficult here at Watkins Glen, which is a very, 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 as we all know, especially with a layout like this, it's a very slipstreamy circuit. Tell me if I'm wrong, but because I haven't raced here in a while, but I'm fairly certain it's basically the circuit version of an oval. And, well, looking at the times, one would agree. There's 29 cars out there right now in practice, and they're all separated by 1 second. You can see a little gaggle actually of cars down there. Let's have a look and see if we can find Mr. Burns out there anywhere. See exactly what he's talking about. Is he out on track right now? Andre in YouTube chat says, I'm implying ovals aren't circuits. Kind of. I did do that. You're right. There's Stephen Burns. He's actually behind Kieran Dempsey right now. Is he about to pass him? Yes. There we go. Dempsey sounds like he's out of fuel here. Maybe he's doing a fuel run, and we can't actually get close enough to the back of Burns' car to see anything, to see any message from Steve Meister. Oh, here we go. We're going into the pits. Ah, bottom. Look at the bottom of his bumper. There it is. The Watkins Haters Club, where it would usually say, send it or bend it. Send it or bend it. But there it is. The Watkins Haters Club. Not to be confused with the Laguna Seca Haters Club that Stephen Burns is also a part of. Regularly brings out his special stickers for events like this. An oval would have been better than this track, he says. No, don't say that. You can't say that. It's Watkins Glen. Anyway, let's go for a quick rundown of your points scenario then before this round. So this is round 4 of 7. We've had 3 rounds so far. This is the halfway point of the season. Patrick's a bit of a blinker, so we'll click on someone else. Who was in that? There's quite a lot of cars behind him. Who's in this little gaggle? Let's go on board with Marcus Gjesdal for the Viking Raiders machine whilst we go through the current order of affairs before this round then. So as of round 3, your team's championship looks like this. Win It or Bin It are leading the standings with Street Casuals in hot pursuit, just over 100 points behind. Pulsar Esports in 3rd place, not far behind Street Casuals, and ORD with a solid 4th place and doing very well indeed. Masters of Talk down in 5th with currently 2 drivers due to Donny Henriksen having an increased workload near the start of the season. Send It and Bend It in P6 with Goldwing, another 100 points down in P7. Lurchus Gaming not far behind in P8. Viking Raiders P9, just ahead of Zero Forks Given Racing, Parallel Racing Group, and Meatball Motorsport round off your team's championship. Currently in P12 before Watkins Glen. And your drivers' standings look a little bit like this. As we said, Donny Henriksen has been away for most of the season, so he's down in 36th place. Duncan Murray, Tim Rutten and Jan Weisfanger were even on points going into this round. Ruslan Kamadulin there with 49 points, with Sebastian Holmichael. Morgan Burkhardt down in 30th place after missing 2 rounds, 66 points. Expect to see him jump up today. Very quick driver. Last season's champion. What can he do during this round? We have Joseph Gibson for Viking Raiders, Loic Thon and Greg Otlier even on points, as is Dan Thornton. 79 points apiece for those 3 drivers. Marcus Gjesdal in 25th, Caraday 24th, Ika Lequay, Usus Mundere 22nd and 23rd, Andy Fox 21st and entering the top 20, Andy Schwind with 115 points. Matt Sanderson, another driver we haven't, who's missed a round or 2, I think. I feel like I haven't seen Matt's race in a while. He's in 19th place. Martin Wallace is in 18th. Eric Mannenfeld 17th, Jerry Agard in 16th, and Team Rutoika in the top 15. Just 2 points ahead of him is David Corpus, Joshua Germany in 13th, Dan Downing 12th, Henry Morse in P11, Sam Van Olst in P10. Your top 10 then as follows. Sam is 19 points behind Kieran Dempsey in P9. Patrick Depart is in P8 for ORD. Send It and Bend It, Stephen Burns up in the top 7 with 212 points, even on points with Kyle Ridley. Andre Marek in P5 with Stephen King in the top 4. John Bailiff 3rd, Austin Farr 2nd, and Jake Cranston leads the way with a scary lead of, well, he's got 323 points from Austin Farr's 264. That is your standings before this round. And now let's skip forward to qualifying. Where is everyone? I'm sure they're coming out of the pit somewhere. Here we go. So it's an 8-minute qualifying session then. Everyone's allowed out on track at once. This is going to be a scary moment actually. Because, well, if anyone touches the car in front, as we know, it 0x's your lap. And your lap time is gone. Always makes me laugh with how many of them are out there. Jan Weisfanger holding it down for Meatball Motorsport, the only Meatball car actually out there today. Where is he? Let's have a quick look at that machine. I saw it somewhere. There it is with the pink and green triangles, weaving his way around Jake Cranston's rear bumper, sticking it to the 2-time Jetta champion. Dan is joining in YouTube chat, says Yo JJ. Hello, Mr. Mould. Welcome back. Good to see you. Currently on board with Jan Weisfanger. He's about to complete his outlap. Gets very close to Jake Cranston there. Thinks, actually, I don't want to follow the 2-time champion on my qualifying lap. I'm going to pass him. Am I going to... Oh, we got some speed there closing in on Joseph Gibson. He's decided to follow Joseph Gibson instead, the Viking Raiders car. Let's go on board, inside, and have a quick look at how this lap actually feels all the way around then. So we're entering this final turn, which can be dodgy with that wall approaching, fast approaching on the outside left-hand side. Very much a train of... I mean, Jan is smack bang. If you look at the track map on the top right, Jan is right in the middle of this big train. Takes a bit of a shallow line there as he looks to the inside of Joe Gibson on the 90-degree right-hander of turn 1. As it goes downhill, pulls you in towards the inside of the corner. And then you get to the right-hand side here. It's obviously flat out through here, up the hill in these cars. Flat out through the right, flat out through the left, and this is where you get the massive toe now. What kind of speeds are we going to see from Jan Weiswanger here? I don't actually know who's in the lead of this train. I was going to flick forward to see what speed they reach compared to Jan, who's in the middle of this slipstream train. We're going to reach 200 kilometers an hour, are we? Yes, we do. As the speedo starts blinking, as the Jetta shouldn't be going this fast. I'm sure, yeah, way over 200 kilometers an hour actually, 207 or something there in the slipstream. And then you've got this fast sweeping right-hander. There's no chicane. The fast sweeping right-hander where you're allowed to sort of use this off track here. You don't get a slowdown or anything there, no penalties. But depending on the line you take through that right-hander, sometimes going out there isn't quicker. And then you've got the final left-right coming up. But this should just be a dab of the brakes. Does he go down into fifth? No, he keeps it in sixth at this moment. You can see Joe Gibson there went off the number 91 Viking Raiders car, throws it into the final turn. Now listen for the wall. Sounded like he got on that throttle, but he kept it in sixth gear all the way through those two corners. I'm not sure that will be Jan's fastest lap of the day. Their times should be coming up now, and it looks like Burkhardt is currently on top of those timings with a 1:21.9. Straight up into the pole position then for Morgan Burkhardt for PRG. Mentioned Donny's just joined the YouTube chat. Welcome back, Donny, good to see you. I don't actually, those symbols don't make sense to me on this, but I'm assuming it's a super thanks or something like that, or a super comment with no comment. Or you've just typed in a number, I don't know. But Morgan Burkhardt, where was I? PRG, we saw Morgan way down the order from missing 2 rounds. He has got the number 1 on his car. He is last season's champion, and he's currently fastest on circuit as Andy Fox decides he doesn't like any of those cones and absolutely murders about 6 of them with his racing line through there. We've got Timu Toika for Pulse Sports, the Finnish driver. Number 46 currently less than a 10th behind Morgan here in second place. Andre Mayerek for ORD is up in third. Ikila Quay up in P4. Sam Vanol's P5, King P6, Agard, Depart, Dempsey and Cranston. Is Cranston down in 10th on his first lap? He's only 3/10 off the pole time. Imagine being in 10th place for 3/10 of a second. We should see a bit of a reshuffle here. Cranston jumps up into third. Ridley jumps up into second, just 400ths off of Burkhardt's time. That's in the win it or win it machine. Number 27, but Cranston jumps up into fourth then. A 10th and a half back, fourth place. Mayerek keeps and holds his position. 27 cars out on track for this qualifying session. 2 cars having to sit out with the quali van. That will be Greg Otley for ZFG and Caraday for Lurch's Gaming. Or is Caraday driving for PRG? I forget, because there's technically 4 Lurch's drivers out there. One of them drives for PRG. No, it's Corpus, Quay and a Windere drive for Lurch's Gaming. So Caraday is for PRG. But currently there's a PRG, so it'll be a PRG sandwich, the Watkins Glen grid. You'll have Burkhardt on pole and likely Caraday at the back after sitting out in the pits. Can Cranston improve further then? Are we going to see another reshuffle? So currently Burkhardt, Ridley and Toika, the fastest drivers. Ridley's in the pits, so he's given up on that lap. I don't know if he's going to change tyres and try again. There's not much of a reshuffle going around here as Austin Farr jumps up into P17. Morse jumps up into P10 for Street Casuals. So both Casuals cars improving. They're at the back of this little train by the looks of it. Austin Farr, number 79, in 18th place, then half a second off of the pole time. Henry Morse jumped up into P10. He's a little bit further back. He's following Dan Downing right now. Here's what it looks like from the nose of his car. On top of Henry Morse's car then. What can he do? Can he improve further than P10? He's only 3/10 off of the pole time right now. But he's down in P10. Austin Farr down in P18. 1 second separating the top 25. Geschwind seems to have given up. He's in the pits. 26 seconds off the pace. That doesn't sound right, so I wonder if he's got an issue. And then Loic Thon there, and Dan Thornton rounding off the field. Loic Thon 1.5 seconds back. I wonder if he's just not getting slipstream. It looks like he's blinking on the circuit a little bit. I think he's just disappeared actually on my screen. I wonder if he crashed on the back stretch. The ZFG car moves well out the way for Mr. Morse. That's Martin Wallace keeping out trouble. There's 50 seconds left of this qualifying session. Is Morgan Burkhardt going to claim his first pole position of the day? Cranston, how close that is. Cranston goes up into third with 700ths of a second. Morse crosses the line, and it doesn't look like there is an improvement from Morse, so he's going to start this race in P10. So Burkhardt, I think everyone's crossed the line now. Duncan Murray seems to have crashed in the final sector. I'm not going to be able to find his name in time to go and see him, but he was out there somewhere. And that looks like qualifying may be done. But these guys are still driving around. It's 5 seconds left. So Morgan Burkhardt then, your pole sitter and his first pole position of the season. We've had 2 drivers on pole before Morgan. That is Cranston and King, the only other pole sitters this season so far. Cranston with 2 poles to his name. Let's not forget that. King with 1. There's only been 3 rounds so far, so Morgan claiming the 4th pole position then. So this is your grid. It's Morgan Burkhardt followed by Carl Ridley, Jake Cranston and Teemu Tuikka on the 2nd row. Andre Majorek and Sam Van Alsten row 3. Ika Lequay and Stephen King on row 4. Jerry Agard, Henry Morse round off your top 10 with Patrick Depart and Marcus Gjesdal for Viking Raiders up in P12 from the Norwegian driver. That is a sterling effort from him based on his current results. That might be the highest he's been all season, so well done to Marcus Gjesdal. Dan Downing and Martin Wallace 13th and 14th. Far Fox, Burns Dempsey, Murray and Manitveld round off your top 20. Weiswanger, Gibson, Amundere and Camadullen round off your top 24. And then last but not least, we have Dan Thornton, Loic Thon, Andy Schwind, Greg Otley and Alejandro Garriday completing your parallel racing group sandwich of a grid here at Watkins Glen. But 1:21.9, the fastest lap in qualifying as we see them line up now, ready for race 1 of 2 tonight. Races 7 and 8 in total. Round 4 of 7. Morgan Burkhardt appears. Is this the best starting camera? We always have to have a little quick look through these. Oh, that's a nice one, but it only sees him really. I think we'll just look at this one. And now we wait. Remember, it's a replay, so the lights aren't showing, but I can hear the engines revving, so they're going to go out any second now. We should see the wheel spin, the smoke, as we see their multicoloured mirrors disappear, and the smoke is away, the green lights are on, and 9 laps of Watkins Glen, why can't I say this track today, begins now as Morgan Burkhardt sweeps to the right-hand side and covers off Ridley. Cranston down the inside immediately moves up into P2, and everybody else shuffling around in that mid-pack as they all come flying through. No one runs off too far. Carraday round the outside of Loic Thom, and he's going to have a look round the outside of Schwind as well as they climb up the hill. A couple of skids I heard as they went up the hill there. I don't think anyone was rubbing anyone the wrong way. Henry Morse looks like he's in a bit of trouble as they're going to go 3 wide down the back straight. Morgan Burkhardt still leads. Majorek weaving all over the place. Tuikka down in 4th. They're going to go 3 wide up the front here, are they? But Cranston's on the inside. Tuikka's on the right-hand side as well. Ridley in the middle. Majorek on the outside. Cranston keeps it tight to the inside, and it looks like Majorek's trying to find his way through as well. They're 2 by 2 as they sweep round that right-hander as we go towards the final sector, and it looks like Henry Morse might be up 3 places almost already. He's on the outside of Sam for this next left-hander. Can he complete that move as they head towards the final turn? Ika Lequay's very much in this mix down the inside, but Henry Morse backs out of the Van Alst move. He's got Depart on his outside as Ika Lequay. King's trying to find a way through as well. Depart and Lequay side by side here for the ORD machine and the Lurchus Gaming car and the Pulsars car. Stephen King in the mix as well. That's a Viking Raiders car behind, excuse me, being passed by Jerry Agard, I believe that was, for Masters of Talk, and Dan Downing. So that's how much it affects you if you lose your run. Gjesdal, though, keeps it down the inside of Downing there and actually keeps that position. So keeps P12 as we see Morse and Van Alst swapping over. They're side by side as they go up the hill. We've got Depart blinking in and out behind them, giving someone a push. He's giving Henry Morse a push by the looks of it. This is where you have to pick some teammates that aren't in your team, because it's all about slipstream. It's all about bump draft. And I mean, look at the gaps on the field. I need to change this to interval so that you can see how close they are. You can see that's the whole grid after 1.5 laps. We're on lap 2, and they're 3 wide at the front. Morgan Burkhardt might be about to lose the lead of this race as Jake Cranston sweeps round the outside of turn 5. He's still there, though, is Burkhardt, and Toyka trying to get involved as well. But Cranston might be about to take the lead of this race. Van Olst and Depart are fighting back here as well. You can see them battling it out. And it looks like Lequay might be trying to come through as well. Burkhardt and Cranston still fighting here. So Burkhardt has not lost this position yet. He goes around the outside of the left-hander. He's on the inside of the final right. And as we approach lap 3 of 9, this is going to be a quick race. Only 9 laps with the speed that these lot are going. And they're all keeping it on the same lap. I wonder if it gets worse in race 2. It normally does. But here we go then, side by side. Cranston, Toyka. Burkhardt is now in 3rd potentially as Toyka turns into turn 1. Burkhardt's still there, might have a bit of a ruined run as they go 3 wide towards the right-hander of turn 2. And it looks like Toyka actually might have got his car. There he has! He's taken the lead of this race, has Teemu Toyka. Cranston tries keeping his little nose in there. And now Morgan has to push the Pulsar's car. This is on board Morgan's machine. This is all he can see. He has to look where he's going through the windshield of the car in front. Through the rear and the front windshield, I should add, as we still see them 3 or 4 wide here. It's 3 wide and 2 pushing along. There's a 3-car train there that Morse is on the inside of. Morse is currently showing his 6th, but he was pushing the train of 3 on the inside line. Is he going to come out on top? This is inside Morse's car, so you can see that's Mayerek in front, the ORD machine. And he's trying to look through there to see where the cars up ahead are. Teemu Toyka puts it in the middle of the road. Burkhardt holds it to the inside right now with Cranston behind him. These two have been known to work together before. Teemu Toyka for Pulsar Esports is currently probably alone in this fight, to be honest. He doesn't seem to have any teammates that might be willing to help him around unless someone just wants to gain their own advantage and push him through. You got Kyle Ridley there, who might get some help from Sam Van Olst, I think. Goldwing and Bennett have been known to work together at times. You got Austin. Is that Austin Farr coming? No, that's Henry Morse still. I thought I saw another Street Casuals car. Oh, I did. There's one behind the Masters of Talk car. And Patrick Dupart. That's Jerry Agard and Patrick Dupart as they go 2x2 again up the hill. This is on board with Austin Farr then. Jerry Agard in front of us in the orange machine. Patrick Dupart there on the left. Stephen King and Andre Mayerek up the road. Oh, thought there was a little bit of a touch there. Equal Quay still holding strong up here in the top 10. We see a few people swapping positions at the back. Still no crashes yet. I don't want to jinx it, but we're on lap 4 of 9. No crashes yet in this slipstreamy circuit. Look at Jesus and Mundere pushing Joe Gibson along, trying to get that extra top speed. I wonder what speed they reached on the straight. As they approached the right hand, it was 182. But that was the braking zone. So maybe I'll keep this graphic up for a bit to see how much speed he actually gained. We've got Jan Weiswanger here swapping positions with a few of them as well. Andy Geschwind trying to get through. Currently in 29th place. Probably scary on the... let's have a look in front of Andy Geschwind. So we've been looking at the front end of this field for a while. And now we can see what it's like from Andy's point of view. Being able to see everyone as he comes onto this main straight. And there you go. You can see it pretty much the whole field as they head towards turn 1. Here they come through then, the static camera picking them up. Is that Ruslan and the ZFG car using all of the circuit. Listen to those diesel engines come flying through here. Equal Quay still side by side with people. There's just constant side by sides here. Few people swapping over. We're on lap 5 of 9 then. Now let's see what kind of speeds we're going to reach here. We've got Duncan Murray's speedo showing so far. He's reached 200 kilometers an hour. Dempsey's reached 200. Gibson's reached 203, 205 kilometers an hour as Joe Gibson as they sweep into the right-hander. Let's go back to the moving camera then. Henry Moore sets a purple sector. He's currently showing us P5 then. He's gained 5 positions. Is he the biggest mover? Not quite. Don't forget Greg Otley started this race from near the back. So he's up 8 positions so far into P20. Carl Ridley is looking to pass... he's looking to pass Teemu Toyka there. And there he goes. Up into P2. purple sectors still for Henry Morse, but Stephen King actually just sets the fastest lap with a 1:22.5. So Stephen King in P6, as we go on to lap 6, has just set the fastest lap of the race. Sweeps into the right-hander. I don't think he's got, to quote John or David Croft, he's got nothing doing through here. Henry Morse still solidly in P5. Cranston leads the way then. This is what it looks like from behind Cranston's car as Burkhardt is pushing Ridley through by the looks of it. So Cranston currently alone. I said they worked together in previous races. That seems to have stopped right now as Morgan Burkhardt wants to try and come through again. And he's pushed Ridley up into the lead of this race. So Carl Ridley, your new leader. The 27 for Win It or Bin It. Morgan Burkhardt giving him a bit of a helping hand. Cranston and Burkhardt now side by side. Toyka and Morse side by side. King, Van Olst, Andre Marek and Patrick Dupart in P8 and 9. Jerry Agard up in the top 10. Austin Farr sitting pretty in P11. Equalacque P12. Dan Downing 13th. Kiestel still up in 14th place as we see the Jettas go 3 wide into that left-hander. And I think Morgan Burkhardt has just taken the lead of this race. He has. He's gone down the inside of Carl Ridley. He's got it done before the final turn. And there he zooms past the final apex down towards the main straight again. No one hitting that wall just yet, which is good to see as we go on to lap 7 of 9. And Austin Farr sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:22.3 as he just passes Jerry Agard, I think, down the inside of turn 1. We've got the ORD boys side by side as well. Hopefully they don't come together. Don't want any team-on-team action that we've seen, not just from ORD, but from other teams in previous races. Manic Bell seems to be having a little bit of a blinking session. 7 laps in of a 9-lap race, and if you look at the track map, the suggestive track map shape, everyone still on the same section of circuit. Stephen Burns there in the mid-pack. He's got Andy Fox behind him. Just give him a... see if Andy gets any closer into this right-hander. Can we see the Watkins Haters Club sign? We can, on the bottom of his car, underneath the Racing Line logo. And then we've got Jake Cranston in P4. I think Morse is on his inside, actually. He is. Henry Morse swoops down the inside of Carl Ridley there into the final turn. Leans on him a little bit on the exit. That was dangerous through Watkins, on Watkins Glen. You can easily spin each other out here with the speeds that you're going in this front-wheel drive machine. But Carl Ridley's going to have a bit of a ruined run then on the final turn. That's what happens when you go side by side here. And I think Morse is now solidly up into P3. But it's not over yet. Sam Van Olst, bit of a nudge out the way there down into turn 1. And the ORD boys still scrapping away. Scrapping away but also working together back here. And then Austin Farr and Stephen King seem to be working together as well. So there's a couple of people pushing each other. Getting that little bump draft, getting that speed. Who's going to have the higher speed coming down this straight then? Stephen King, nearly at 200 kilometers an hour already. Where's Depart? Looks like he's going a little bit slower, 202. Stephen King, 205, 206. Gets pushed a little to a higher top speed by Austin Farr there. And Stephen King swoops into P7. Timu Toyka then, side by side. And it looks like Henry Morse is going to swoop around the outside. Is he getting a push from Cranston here on lap 8 of 9? We're approaching our final lap of Watkins Glen. And Henry Morse and Cranston are on the inside of Burkhardt and Toyka. Into the left-hander they go. The second to last corner, and then we've got the final turn coming up as we approach our final lap then. Morgan Burkhardt on the inside, Morse on the outside. We've seen the outside line be stronger here, providing you don't hit the wall. And it looks like Morse, Cranston, Ridley and Van Olst might be on the better line here as Morgan Burkhardt drops down from first into third, moves over on Ridley, says no more are coming through. I'm going to stay in third position. Thank you very much. Timu Toyka looks down the inside, but Burkhardt should get a better run on the exit of the corner and keep P3. But Morse and Cranston still very much side by side for the lead of this race then. Your top 10 separated by minimal gaps. I mean, the whole grid's still pretty much on the main straight. There's a little bit of a gap from Loic Thon to Ruslan somehow. But still very much everyone in this race then. Morgan Burkhardt pushes Henry Morse past Jake Cranston. Ridley pushes Jake Cranston. Toyka picks the driver. Van Olst might try and make it 3 wide. Gets blocked by the Pulsar Esports car. Austin Farr has nowhere to go there. All of these cars separated by hundredths of a second And Henry Morse round the outside of turn 5 then. The tip, we can call that. I'm sure it's got a real track name, but we'll call it the tip for today. For obvious reasons. Henry Morse then on the inside of the final turn. Let's have a look behind. So Teemu Tuikka's probably got the best view of this final fight. This is on top of Morgan Burkhardt's car. Remember, Morgan was leading this race into this final lap, and this is what it looks like then. Teemu Tuikka around the outside of Carl, gets pushed out wide, and then Jake Cranston up the road then in P2. Henry Morse looks like he's in the lead of this solidly, moves to the inside line, and Henry Morse takes the win here at Watkins Glen, his first win of season 4. Henry Morse wins at Watkins Glen for the sprint race with Jake Cranston coming home in P2. Is this the resurgence of the number 14? He's missed a round, but there are drop rounds. I know he's had one bad round as well earlier in the season. What is going to happen then to Henry Morse? Can we see him come back from wherever he was in the standings? Let's just remind ourselves, actually, before this round, this is what it looked like. Henry Morse is down in P11 with 163 points. And that win would have been worth 60 big ones. Obviously, we're not going to work out what everyone got just now. You'll find that out at the end of the race. And we had to enter the calm before the storm then. Let's have a quick look at the results. I don't think many cars tend to go out during this time. I think Isa Samundere normally goes for a little cruise. There he is. Let's go on top of his car. Get a quick look at that Lurch's Gaming mouse on the top of his bonnet. So your Heat 1 results then look like this. Does this points button work? I can't remember. Oh, it does. Have a look at that. Although that might not be entirely accurate, because obviously penalties and stuff get applied after the races, and I don't know if there's... I can't see the fastest lap point being applied, or the pole position point. But anyway, I might leave it up there just so that you can see and reference the point system. But you got Henry Morse then, Jake Cranston and Carl Ridley, your top 3. Oh, it's disappeared anyway. Morgan Burkhardt in P4 then, led that race for a couple of laps, ended up dropping down to P4, but only 6 tenths in it when they crossed the line. Stephen King P5, Sam Van Alst second back in P6. Austin Farr P7 within the same tenth of a second as Sam Van Alst. Teemu Tuikka ended up down in P8 then because of that shove wide from the Win It or Bin It machine into the final turn. And Patrick Dupart and Andre Marek round off your top 10. A double top 10 for ORD there for the Polish driver and the Czech driver. Dan Downing up in P11. Ika Lecquet held on to P12. Stephen Burns P13 for the Watkins Haters Club. Jerry Agard in P14. Andy Fox then and Kieran Dempsey 15th and 16th. Remember, our grid graphic doesn't work for the feature race because it's a replay. So I'll go through the order of your top 16 then, because it's reversed for race 2. Let's not forget. Kieran Dempsey then will be starting the next race on pole position with Andy Fox in P15. Jerry Agard will be starting in P3 with Stephen Burns behind him in P4. Ika Lecquet, Dan Downing on row 3. Marek Dupart on row 4. Tuikka and Farr row 5. Van Alst and King row 6. Burkhardt and Ridley row 7, with Cranston and Moore starting next to each other on row 8. Behind them will be Duncan Murray and Greg Otley, who made it up into 18th in the end after starting down in 28th place. And then you got Martin Wallace in 19th, was only a 10th behind his teammate Manit Velda Mundere down in 21st. Gibson Gjesdal next to each other on circuit as well. Thornton 24th, Weisswanger 25th. Thon, Caraday and Ruslan round off your field. And Geschwind, let's not forget. Caraday, Camadallen and Geschwind round off your field to make your 29 drivers. So now let's go forward then onto your feature race. Oh, this is showing Dempsey as 18th for some reason. Does that mean someone got a penalty? Or is it just the overlay being silly? I think it's the overlay being silly. It does look like he's starting on your front row. Oh, we've lost the good camera. And we're about to go. There we go. That's a good one. And the green lights are on and the race starts. Remember, it's twice as long this time round. And it is 18 laps beginning now. This is your feature race. There's one forced pit stop in this race. And Dempsey leads down into turn 1 with Andy Fox behind. Agard and Burns following along as they all sweep down into turn 1. And it looks like everyone just about manages to keep it on the track. There was one ORD machine off in the background. I think that was Dan Thornton. As the other two machines are up near the top 10. Good camera, there's not much wood on this track. And there we go, we saw a couple more of the cars coming up through. Andy Gushwind is rounded off the field right now. LeQuay swapping positions with Dan Downing. And here we're starting to get grey. If they had rain on this game, I would say that it's looking like it was going to rain at some point as we see them weaving down this main straight. And Agard looks like he's all alone on the inside line. Is he about to try and pass Andy Fox? Or is he defending from Stephen Burns? I think he's defending from Stephen Burns as he enters the right-hander. They're still side by side as they all sweep through. How many? Oh, this is going to be a good camera. That's just like... that noise is pretty insane. Anyway, Dempsey continues to lead from Fox then behind. This is what it looks like behind Dempsey. He's leading the way for Win It or Bin It. Agard still swapping over with Stephen Burns. Side by side, long-term drivers, both Agard and Burns here. Andy Fox looks like he wants to take the lead of this race. You can see his Brabham helmet, but he's actually, I think he's going to push him actually. We've seen Martin Wallace enter the pit lane already. I think that was for a jump start, if I remember rightly. Martin Wallace got a jump start just before the lights went green. We've got Majorek and Toyka swapping over here for P7. So the ORD boys trying to work their way up. Remember, they started on row 5 or 6. And it's nice that they're together on the circuit, because it does mean that they can try and help each other. But more often or not them, I'm not talking about ORD in particular, but more often or not, sometimes teammates trip over each other. As we see Agard then, around the outside, being pushed by Burns. Is he going to try and pass Fox here for P2? Jerry Agard in the orange machine. You can see him on the outside line here. Is he going to use all the runoff? He's now following Dempsey in the red Win It or Bin It machine. Look at that. Fox moves over on Agard to try and keep him to the middle of the circuit. Smart driving from Andy. That's not. Just absolutely dented his door. But they will survive. I don't think we've ever tripped over each other with Patrick, says Andre. So Patrick and Andre have not fallen for the tripping over teammate thing. Although we can see here, Timu Toyka and Patrick Dupart have had a huge issue somewhere on circuit. So already a different story compared to race 1. Let's see if we can have a look and find out what happened. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, that was big as well, as we see Timu Toyka bounce back onto the circuit, I think. Yeah, he did back out onto the circuit. Oh, Andres just said, and you missed the wreck with Patrick and Timu. No, I didn't. We just watched it. Keep up. Let's watch that again. I need to see that in slow motion. So let's have a look what happened from above, because I couldn't really see from that angle on the side of the circuit. Can't really work out what happened to these two drivers. So they're side by side. We've got Andre Majorek on the right. He's clear by now. Dupart starts turning in towards the apex, so he looks pretty safe as well. It doesn't look like he's lost his rear. There. So it was a touch from Far, actually. Far touched Patrick's rear. See, now that's actually true. Andre, well done. Yeah, that was... It looked like the number 79 machine just had a little bit of a coming together with Patrick's rear end. And then that sent Patrick to the left into Timu, and that looks like it might have ruined... Definitely... Oh... one more time, just because I want to see Timu bounce back onto the circuit. Full speed again. So watch Austin's car look. Taps the rear of Patrick. Then a little bit of netcode happens. And then Timu's car bounces back on. Rolls over. Oh, the Viking Raiders car gets collected there as well. I think that'll be Marcus Gesdel. He's the lead Viking Raiders car in that fight. And it gets a little bit touchy-feely at the front end as well. But Gibson seems to be slowing. Weisswanger on his inside. Austin Farr and Duncan Murray fighting it out just up the road as well. As we see Mannenfeld blinking in and out, that can be very off-putting in such a close train. And then you'll see the overlay try and sort itself out because we're not on lap 4. It's because we've jumped a couple times. Oh dear, Dan Downing as well. Let's have a look at that. Dan Downing then, down towards turn 1. Oh, big crash. Big knock-on effect there. Constantina effect by the looks of it. He does park it. Doesn't come back on in front of everyone. That could have been dangerous. And oh, you don't often see drivers do that, where they consciously stay on the runoff before rejoining. So good effort for that man. We see a few people come into the pits then and out the pits. But Kieran Dempsey still leads from Jerry Agard. Andy Fox and Burns are now in 3rd and 4th. Equal Quay is up into your top 5 right now. With, well, Morgan Burkhardt's about to pass him around the outside, actually. He's got Sam Van pushing him as Morgan Burkhardt just chops the nose off the Lurchers gaming machine. Lucky not to spin himself out there, really. As we see Ruslan moving up as well. Up the inside of Jan Weisswanger. He's got Joe Gibson next on his radar. The 2 Viking Raiders cars, actually, that are on circuit are next up for these boys. As we hear some more sliding around towards the final turn. Dempsey sweeping in. King round the outside of the quay into the final corner. Got pretty tight there on the exit. Quick congratulations actually to Stephen King is in order for those watching the stream or maybe don't keep up with Discord. You may notice the Haas logo, the small Haas logo on the side of the Pulsar's car. That is because Mr. King works for Haas F1 team. But he's recently got a promotion, I believe, where he'll now be travelling the world with the F1 circus to tell them to turn their computers off and on again and hope that they start working is pretty much the job role. But a massive congratulations to Mr. King, who's been with us from the start, all the way back in 2020, I think it was, when COVID started, I think it was. But obviously known King a lot longer than that. Been racing on GTA. GTA 6 has been announced, guys, as well, by the way. Trailer coming out in December. I just can't get over how close this track is. All separated by tenths of a second, and respectful driving from the lot at this top end so far. We go on to lap 5. I think that's accurate now. We are on to lap 5 of 18. So the pit window will open now. But Doug Murray seems to have come in early. I don't know if he's had an issue. It says he's jumped the pits. And he did go off track earlier. So I wonder if he's had a little crash somewhere, but just felt like looking at some trees, apparently. Anyway, Dempsey's still leading. Morgan Burkhardt is now getting firmly involved in this fight. As Jerry, had a little bit of a wiggle there. I'm guessing the pusher was pushing the... what's the saying? Don't push the pusher. The pusher was pushing the pusher. Andy Fox, though, look at him sweeping round the outside line. Looked like he was about to turn into Kieran's rear. In fact, he might have, because Kieran's unsettled the car. And look at that. Jerry Agar takes the lead of this race just like that. From Andy Fox going for an opportunistic sweep with the overspeed that he had. And then it just didn't come off, but it unsettled Kieran enough to drop back down into P3, maybe even 4, because now Fox is on his inside. Agard is no longer in the lead of this race because Burkhardt took the opportunity as well. And now, Season 3 champion leads the way then. The number 1 machine leading this race Currently quite low down in the standings. This will bump him up if he can finish here in this feature race. Still 60 points for a win. Same amount of points as the sprint race. As we see Cranston, though, working his way up. That will be your championship rival, Jake Cranston. Side by side with Stephen Burns and the Watkins Haters Club. Sam Van Olst involved as well. Stephen King, Morse, Ridley behind. Morse and Farr down in 9th and 10th for Street Casuals. Schwinn down in 21st, trying to get the extra little points for the team. They're in a tight team fight with Win It or Bin It. So currently Morse and Farr, 9th and 11th. We've got Dempsey in 4th for Win It or Bin It. Ridley in 10th. We've got Bailiff away. As we finish the first third of this race. Lap 6 of 18 now. There's a little bit of a bump there that I don't recall being there. And I don't know if it's just because I don't recall driving the layout without the chicane. But if you watch the cars enter into that right-hander, they seem to dip down and unsettle. It doesn't look like a fun moment. I might go on board with someone on the next lap. Or maybe we should go on board with Ika Lequay, who is currently heading towards there. See if we can see this bump. There. Literally just as they enter. We've got Fox, Burns, Morse, Ridley and Farr and Mannenfeld coming in the pits. But you just heard Ika Lequay's car. If you go onto the left-hand side and throw it into that right-hander, you can hear the bump. It's pretty savage. We've got a few cars in the pits then. It's the pit stop phase as we see a few people move over and stop. Morse looks like he's found his pit box. Ridley's in. And Burns and Fox. Look at that, was perfectly in sync. That was beautiful. Leaving the pack and pitting early doesn't sound like the optimal strategy, thinking face, says Andre Marek. That sounds like a man in the know. Maybe, maybe not, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if this is the best strategy. Unless these guys are confident in their pace and think that the top drivers currently, which is now Burkhardt, Agard and Dempsey, maybe these guys will fight too much. And these guys could now work together. Morse and Farr could now work together, for example. In fact, Fox has actually come out in front of all of these. And Burns is there as well. So you've got 3, technically, I guess, Win It or Bin It umbrella cars. And 2 Street Casuals cars here in this train. So maybe they're just all planning on giving a bit of slipstream, not fighting. Continuing on until the pit stop phase is over. Otley and Gjezdal are coming in. Let's have a look at those pit stop times. You can see them at the bottom of your screen. They flash up. But let's put them on the board. So there's your stoppage time, which I think we've discussed. We've discussed a little bit in Discord, as it's apparently random, your stoppage time, because you got I can't remember the gap. Someone said it was like, was it half a second or a second and a half difference sometimes at random selection. Doesn't matter where you park the car. Doesn't matter if you park it at an angle. Andre says, I was P13 before these guys pitted, so watch what happens after the pit stops. Andre is now currently in P7, so he was P13 before this. And let's see what happens. But yeah, the pit stop time seems to be a little bit random. Obviously Gibson's is not. He's 51 second stop. He's filled his car right up with diesel for some reason. He must be doing a 24-hour Watkins Glen race, is Mr. Gibson. But at least we know he'll get it to the end. Unless he crashes. Obviously we wish that good luck for the rest of the race, and we touch wood that he doesn't crash. Kieran Dempsey comes in. Jan Weisbanger up into P9 then for the only Meatball Motorsport car on the circuit as we approach the halfway phase of this race. And there is a PRG car going in. That's Caraday. Dan Thornton up into the top 10 for the ORD machine. Andy Gushwind is following him along as well. So these two are in a little double trouble bubble of slipstream. Weisbanger's out there by himself. Amundere's out there by himself. Austin Farr's group, I should say Andy Fox's group, is about to pass Kieran Dempsey, actually, who was in that top train. So this group of 5 cars then, where's Dempsey? He's dropped down behind them all. He should see him come out of the pits soon. In fact, he's still not out the pits. He's there. So Otley, Gestel, he's come out behind loads of them. Oh, he's had a 17-second stop. That's why. 17.8 seconds. Had to overtake 4 cars, and then there was a 4-second gap, says Weiswanger. Yeah, Dempsey's had a 17-second stop here, nearly 18 seconds. That's why he's dropped down. He's behind loads of the cars now. I wonder if he can catch back up. Andy Fox has dropped down a little bit here. Is that because these guys are working together? Looks like it. You see them go over the bump, and it looks like Henry Morse is now leading this train. Race 1 winner of this round. Sam Van Olst comes into the pit lane by himself. Unusual strategy when they're all in a train. I guess people are just trying to gain the advantage, or has Sam seen something that the others haven't? But Burkhardt, Cranston, Agard, King and Majorek and Weiswanger and Thornton and Gushwind continue on their way on lap 10. So Sam Van Olst into the pits. Where is Henry Morse? Here comes your train of 5 then. This is your lead pit stoppers. Sam Van Olst still sat there, I think. And, oh dear, both of them way over again, once again. Slow stops all across the board. Amundere, 14 seconds. And Van Olst is still sat there. I mean, Morse is long gone. He's going up the hill, is Henry Morse and the rest of the train. I don't know. Well, again, Sam, he's still in the pits. 37, 38 seconds. Is he going to do a 51er like Joseph Gibson? Sam Van Olst having an absolute nightmare. His pit crew gone for a break by the looks of it. Nicola and Manit Veld still side by side, swapping over. Gestel very much in the middle of this. Look at Marcus Gestel. He's got no room to move. He's right on the back of Otley, and behind him is Ike Lequay. Oh, there he goes. He's found his way out of that somehow. I don't know how he did that. And he defended from Eric Manit Veld in the 99 Dutch machine. Good driving for Marcus Gestel today. He's enjoying Watkins Glen by the looks of it, I would assume. Anyway, it looks like he is. He's on for some strong results here. And your leaders come into the pit lane then. So here they are. Your lead train in the pits. Henry Morse coming around the final turn. Throws it in towards the apex. Andy Gushwind is going for another lap. He does this every time. How does he do this? How does he extract the extra lap from the fuel? I think Henry Morse is going to take the lead of this race. You can see them, look. You can see them on the right-hand side coming out of the pit exit. There's Morgan Burkhardt and Jake Cranston. So let's have a look then. Where is he going to come out? I think, oh, he hasn't quite come out in the lead. He comes out side by side with Stephen King in P5. So where is Andre Majorek going to come out? He's down in 11th. So you said he was P13 before this. He's actually gained 2 places. I'm not sure what I was looking for or what I've missed here, other than Andy Gushwind going round again. But every normal stop, it looks like Henry Morse and Agard have... Well, Agard's actually on the inside. I thought they were working together. But Cranston and Burkhardt then, 8.7 and 9.3. 8.7 is a low stop. That is very quick. That's an underfueling stop. He's a second quicker than everyone, is Jake Cranston, in the stopping phase. And now that we've added this nerdy feature of being able to see the pit stop times, we can kind of work out people who have made that mistake before it happens. And 8.7, looking at the rest of the field's stoppage time, that is an underfueled stop. In fact, Burkhardt is, and Giesdal might be running fine as well, with, and Depart with 9.1, 9.3 and 9.4. The amount of 9.7s I see, it could be safe. Yeah, well, maybe the guys that were there might be able to fill me in, but then again, we don't need to spoil it because we'll just find out. We're on lap 12 of 18. We've got 6 laps remaining. Let's have a quick look at the total pit lane times then. See anyone who absolutely smashed the pit entry and pit exit. Who's got your quickest normal looking pit stop of the day? Burkhardt 41.0. It might be Morgan Burkhardt. It is Morgan Burkhardt then with a 41.0. So that little couple attempts under that he's got might have helped him. He's absolutely nailed the pit entry. I can't see anyone that was quicker than that. 41.1 for Cranston. Agard says hello, he did 12 laps. How did he do that? Jan Weisswanger, yeah, Andy Geschwind. He's done 12 laps on 1 gallon of fuel. How? He's up 26 places. He's in the pits. He's not going to come out in the lead because he was out there by himself for so long. But how did he save that much fuel? Morgan Burkhardt then leads the way. Jerry Agard, I think, is good friends with Andy Geschwind. Not saying that just because they're both Swiss. But maybe Jerry knows a little bit about his fuel-saving mastery. And then actually Geschwind's done an 8.7 stop as well, but he actually might make it to the end at this phase of the race. I don't think Cranston is going to, because he stopped on a normal lap. But Geschwind comes out then with a 40-second stop, and you've got to say that it's legit. So if there is an award for fastest pit stops, you've got to say Geschwind done a legit stop, because he did push it to 12 laps. And he could fuel less. So Andy Geschwind then, the fastest pit stop of the race with the 40 seconds. We can get rid of that now and stop talking about your pit stop times. So then, good to see Jerry jump in the YouTube chat. We're on lap 13 of your feature race. We're on round 4 out of 7 of the season. This is race 8. We've had 3 different drivers on pole position, which is Burkhardt most recently, currently leading the way. We had Stephen King and Jake Cranston twice. Manetfeld and Gesdal swapping over into turn 1. Lap 14 of 18 now, 4 laps remain, and Morgan Burkhardt could be in trouble here. Henry Morse has a nickname among the drivers, although the nickname is kind of void on this race, as this is a feature race. He's going down the inside already. It looks like Henry Morse might be taking the lead. This could be Burkhardt fuel saving. That looks too easy for that to be a legit move, and Ridley's going to take advantage of it as well and go down the inside and get up into P2. Burkhardt drops to P3. Farr is showing, has he just blinked? Because it showed, yeah, no, he has just blinked because it was showing him as out. That was scary for Austin Farr. I think he's going to come back. Definitely a legit stop for me, says Cranny Cart on Twitch. Nothing to worry about. No, I don't think you're going to make that. Even without being told. 8.7 seconds is a very low stop. And Geschwind might make it, only because he's done an extra magic 2 laps of fuel somehow. That I don't know how he done it. Anyway, what was I was saying something. Oh, Henry Morse's nickname, as we see Dan Downing having a little fight with Jesus Amundere and Alejandro Caraday and Jan Weisswanger and Patrick Depart and Dan Thornton and Andy Geschwind. Henry Morse's nickname is the Sprint Ninja. There we go, got it out eventually. And he's earned that name by stealing sprint race victories on the line on the last lap. Now this is a feature race. It looks like he's already taken the lead. I was thinking it was going to be another ninja move, but he's already in the lead then. He's got Ridley right behind him though. Ooh, ooh! Look at that, Downing and Caraday. Really, really close. Pretty much inside each other's car then. I thought someone was going to die. Patrick Depart is trying to pick a safe car to follow, but he just can't pick one. That looked like it was going to be a little bit dodgy. Remember Caraday started this race at the back. Oh, they've made contact there. Caraday's absolutely missed the corner by the looks of it. That was really different to the... that was way different to what we saw earlier, where it was helped by Austin Farr touching the rear. That was... I don't know if Dan Downing had an input on that one, to be honest, from watching it at that angle. As we see Eric Manenfeld coming into the pits for some reason. Not sure why. I wonder if that's a meatball of some sort. I think it might be a meatball. Let's have a look at Jake Cranston's onboard. said no lift and coast whatsoever. And we know from earlier they were reaching 205 on this straight. Jake Cranston. Is he going to reach it? No. Look how much he's lifted off into the corners. He didn't even he barely reached 200 kilometers on the straight in a slipstream train of 4 or 5 cars. And then he lifted off way early into the corner, down to 185 for 4 entry. And Stephen King swoops around his outside, goes up into P6. Jake Cranston's P7. There's a bit of a gap actually behind though. That's what it looks like from behind Cranston's car. Back to Stephen Burns. It's a 3.5 second gap. That might be big enough with only 2 laps remaining, you know. Can Cranston hold on to P7 then? 3.5 seconds for Stephen Burns. He's got Andy Fox and company who could be helping him here. Ruslan and Jesus are also battling it out somewhere. So we see them come together into the second to last corner. Ruslan down the inside of the final turn then. Oh, that sounded like someone had a hit of some sort from behind. Is that Dan Downing again? Dan Downing's involved somehow. He's at the back of this train now. Team Toyka's trying to come through. Dan Thornton as well. It's getting feisty back here for P20. All civil at the top end. Patrick and Ruslan side by side. Amundere then comes out in the lead of this fight for P14. We're on lap 17 of 18 now. Ruslan and Depart still side by side. The Polish driver versus the UAE driver. Austin Farr and Morgan Burkhardt side by side. Farr swooping around the outside of Morgan, who's also probably fuel saving a little bit with his 9.3 second stop. Not as much as Cranston though. And look at Ridley just stuck in the middle of this street casual sandwich. Morgan Burkhardt out there by himself. And it looks like Ridley's moved back over. So that's going to give Farr a bit of tow to follow his teammate through now then. Stephen King trying to come through. Andre Mayerek still there. We're going to go on to the final lap here. Enters the final turn. Morse leading the way then for the final time. On towards lap 18. We're on lap 17 now. We're about to cross the line onto 18. Morse goes down to the inside. Burkhardt follows him. Ridley keeps to the left. As they head down towards turn 1. Where's those static cameras gone? They were a much nicer view. There we go. You've got the whole train coming through. Morse leading then. You can see how close it is. It's getting darker out there. It definitely would have rained if they had that on this service, let's call it. And here we go then onto the back stretch. Morgan Burkhardt's still in a good position here. Cranston's still well within this. He's actually pulled away from this little gaggle of Fox, Agard, Burns and Gjesdal, who's a little bit further back. There's those 3. Where is Gjesdal? There's Gjesdal. He's got Ika Lequape company and Kieran Dempsey as well. Morgan Burkhardt then and Austin Farr. Here they are down the back straight. It's 3 wide as they head towards the final, the tip is what we call it. And Ridley and Burkhardt come together and the casuals cars come through to 1-2 and Mayerek's trying to come through to 3rd. King on the inside of all of them. Has he got the run? It doesn't look like it. Morgan slots into P4, but number 1 and 27 coming together. You can see in the background there, the Send It and Bend It boys are leading. Jerry Agard, Andre Mayerek, twitchy under the brakes. That would have been from a little nudge from behind. The PRG car then, giving Andre a little nudge. He defends to the inside of the final turn. I think he has this under control here as they come around the final turn. Then lap 18, Burkhardt and King have a big contact there on the final turn. But Henry Morse gets a double win for Season 4, Round 4, Watkins Glen. 2 wins in a row on his return to the circuit. Henry Morse, Street Casuals, 1-2. That might be... Actually, I'm not going to say it's the first 1-2 of the season because I'm not entirely sure. It's their first 1-2 of the season. I'm not sure if another team has already done it. I can't remember. But it's definitely Henry Morse's first win this season. And he's made it 2 wins, which puts him even with Mr. Cranston, actually. It looks a little bit like this. If you exclude Media Day, round 1, Cranston and Farr, Barber Motorsports Park. Then it was Burkhardt and Cranston in Summit Point Raceway. Then it was King and Ridley at VIR. And then Morse, Watkins Glen International. I'm sure you'll enjoy seeing that, seeing his name up in the lights. Good stuff. Go back to the little statistics page. Like I said, 3 drivers on pole position so far this season in 4 rounds. That makes it 6 different winners then in 8 races. We've had Jake Cranston and Henry Morse twice each. Morgan Burkhardt, King, Ridley and Austin Farr. All race winners. 13 drivers so far. We're at the halfway point of the season. 13 out of the 36 have been on the podium. Cranston leading the championship, as we saw earlier, by quite a way, has 6 podiums. Henry Morse now has 4. He's catching him up, and with a drop round, does that bring Henry Morse into contention with this championship? Austin Farr has 3 podiums to his name. Carl Ridley 2, Bailiff 1, Depart 1, Burkhardt 1, Toyka 1, Germany 1, King 1, Burns 1, Dempsey 1, and Andre Majorek becomes your most recent podium sitter there. New podium sitter this season, the 13th driver to sit on the podium, stand on the podium, whatever. Andre Majorek for Team ORD, and I'm sure he'll be buzzing with that when he saw Burkhardt and Ridley go wide in that final turn on the final lap. 6 drivers have got fastest laps this season. Cranston has 3. Manetveld, Agard, Bailiff, Farr and King have 1 each. And being the first driver to take a double win this season, Henry Morse has taken the highest scoring round of the season so far with 120 points to his name. That record being previously held by Cranston, who had 112 points in round 1 and 2. And then round 3, Cranston and King had 99 points each that day. Took a whole lap less of fuel. It's a miracle I made it to the end. It was a mega fuel save. It was surprising, to be honest. I wonder if there's any interesting points I can go back to whilst I go over results and stuff. Did we ever find out what happened to Duncan Murray? Let's see if we can find out what happened to Duncan Murray. Ooh. Oh. There we go. That's what happened to Duncan Murray. Oh, is he going to reverse back onto the circuit? I don't know if that was luck. Was that luck that no one was on racing at that point? So that looked like Duncan moved left on Greg there. And now Greg's coming over to the right. Yeah. That looks terrible from that angle for sure. So there is a gaggle of cars coming up, but I mean, Duncan's got a solid view of them, to be honest. He can see them quite clearly. Because he's going backwards at a rate of knots here. Unfortunately, the speedo doesn't work at this speed. Well, let's have a look then at your race results for the feature race, and then we'll see what the standings look like as of round 4 then. So Henry Morse and Austin Farr, 10th between them. Street Casuals 1-2. Andre Majorek claiming the 13th, his first podium of the season, and being the 13th driver to do so this season only in 4 rounds. Morgan Burkhardt, King, Ridley, your top 6. Cranston, Fox, Agard and Gjesdal gets a top 10. Give that man a round of applause. Viking Raiders up there in 10th place. And with no... I know it's Watkins Glen, but there's no big crashes, so he's done very well there, the Norwegian driver. Equalakwe P11, Dempsey, Ruslan Kamadulin up in P13 as well. That might be the best results for both Marcus and Ruslan, if I'm not mistaken. If anyone wants to go on theracingline.org and check that stat, that'd be great. Patrick Depart, Dan Thornton up in P15. Patrick Depart and Dan Thornton finishing together on circuit in P14 and 15. Andy Geschwind P16. Timo Toyka 17th. Jan Weisberger 18th. And then the rest, we have Otley and Wallace, who were pretty close on circuit. We have Burns, Thon, For Nolst, way down the order. Oh, he was in the pit stops for about a minute. And then Caraday 24th, Mundere 25th, Downing 26th. Was quite far down. Manenfeld and Joe Gibson then as well. And then Duncan Murray didn't make it after that, what we just saw on screen. So now the moment you've all been waiting for, the updated standings then. You can get rid of that, as this is just a replay. Where is the updated standings? Let's do teams first. This is what it looks like as of round 4 then at Watkins Glen for the Volkswagen Jetta Cup, powered by GT Omega here on the Racing Line channel. Win it or bin it, still lead the way. However, let's not forget, back at the start of this stream, they had more than 100 points lead, and that has been brought down to 3. So Street Casuals pulling in heaps of points then, closing right in on Win It or Bin It, making it an extremely close teams championship in the end. Can the same be done in the Drivers' Championship with Jake Cranston? I don't know. Will the drop round make a difference? I don't know. Not at this phase. Pulsar Esports then still currently third with 683 points. ORD 675 are not very far behind. They could be on for entering the top 3 here as we head to round 5 at Road Atlanta. Masters of Talk in P5, Send It and Bend It P6, Goldwing still P7, Lurcher still P8, and then a little bit of a switch around at the bottom. Parallel Racing Group with Morgan Burkhardt returning, jump up into P9, up 2 spaces, jumping 4 points ahead of Zero Forks Given Racing. Viking Raiders dropping down to P11 with 350 points, but quite close between those 3 teams at the moment. And a Meatball Motorsport with their lone warrior, Jan Weisfanger, there, rounding off the field in P12. And then your drivers' standings then. Let's see how much this has changed. We have Donny Henriksen still at the bottom. What am I looking for here? Oops. Tim Rutten still, well, he's dropped down to 35th. He's also not making it back for the rest of the season. Sebastian Hallmichael, I think, will come back for a race or 2. Duncan Murray up 2 positions, though, even not finishing that race, is up into 33rd. Jan Weisfanger goes up 1. Ruslan Kabadalin goes up 1. Joseph Gibson, Loic Thon, Alejandro Caraday have dropped down the order. Greg Otley stays where he is. Dan Thornton stays where he is, 2 points ahead of Greg Otley. Matt Anderson drops 6 for a no-show down into 25th place. Jesus Mundere drops 2. Marcus Gjesdal jumps up 2 spots in the standings up to 23rd after his strong top 10 result. Andy Geschwin drops 2 and Ike Lequay jumps 2 to 21st place. David Corpus drops 6 with his no-show. Joshua Germany drops 6. Morgan Burkhardt then is the reason for all these shuffles round as he goes up into 18th place, up 12 positions now with 159 points. A big old jump for Morgan Burkhardt. Can he continue that? We then got Zero Forks Given Racing. Martin Wallace up 1 position into 17th. Just 1 point behind Eric Manenfeld, who also gained a position up into 16th. Andy Fox is up 6 positions for Send It and Bend It. Only 1 point ahead of Eric Manenfeld and 2 points ahead. It's very close in this mid-pack. This is ridiculously close on points, but 6 positions up for Andy Fox. Dan Downing drops 2 down to 14. Timu Toika goes up 2 to 13th. Jerry Agard is up 4 positions in the standings, up into 12th, as Sam Van Os drops to P11. Kieran Dempsey drops to P10, 1 position. John Bailiff with his no-show drops 6 places down to P9. Remember, drop rounds will resort this out in the final round, so it could all still shuffle around. We've got Stephen Burns down 1 position in P8. Patrick DePart goes up 1 into P7. Henry Morse goes up 5 positions into P6 after his double win. So he went up from, I guess, P11, 12 up into P6. Andre Majorek stays where he is in the top 5. Come on, he must be happy. Andre, you happy with this? He's P5 and he stays in P5. He's up there and he's going to continue being up there. He's only 2 points behind Carl Ridley, who jumps up 2 spots. Stephen King jumps up a place as well as he goes up into the top 3 with 318 points. And then your top 2 are as was. You've got Jake Cranston in first place with 418 points and Austin Farr still in second for Street Casuals there. The number 79 machine. Still a little bit of a way back, but like I said, drop rounds could have a massive effect on this standing order. That is pretty much it for round 4 of 7 then. Thank you all for joining in chat. Good to see you all again. And yeah, Sunday is the next stream. We've got Road Atlanta on Sunday. It'll be Sunday afternoon, so don't worry if you can't join live, but obviously the stream will be there for you all to watch afterwards anyway. But Sunday afternoon will be round 5 of 7, races 9 and 10, Road Atlanta. Don't miss it. I'll see you here on the Racing Line channel. This is the Volkswagen Jetta Cup powered by GT Amiga. If I don't see you on track this week, then I'll see you next week for the next video here on the Racing Line. Peace.